Hello, and welcome to this screencast from Easy Peasy Photoshop Tutorials. Today we want to look at the Photoshop work area. It's not really a tutorial, but mainly a tour. So let's get right to it. If we look over here on the left, what we have is this long strip window or pane, and it's called the Photoshop toolbar. And if you can click up here, you can make it shorter and collect the tools up a little bit higher, or you can click again and have it one long strip. That's up to you, that's your preference. At the top here we have the move tool, and as you can see the V as in Victor is in parentheses. What happens is if I push the V key on the keyboard, that tool will become highlighted. So let's try that. There we go. Also, what you notice up in the Photoshop work area is that this area here changed whenever I change tools. This area here gives you the ability to work on a tool and change some of its parameters. So if we go on to the marquee tool right below the move tool and push M on the keyboard, we can see it's changed. And there's a number of areas that we can input information or numbers and change parameters for this tool. Same thing as if we click on the lasso tool, magic wand tool, the crop tool, the eyedropper tool, the healing brush tool, or the brush tool, or the clone stamp. Now I'll stop right here. If you look at the bottom right hand corner, there's a little triangle there. If you click and hold, what you get is more tools related to the first one. The little bullet point right here shows you which one you're on, and it shows that both tools, if you hit the keyboard shortcut of S, will come up. So if I have the clone stamp tool pattern, if I hit a different key and then came back to the S, that one would be highlighted. Now you can't toggle through. If I keep on hitting S, it doesn't work. You got to come here, click and hold, and select a tool. So let's continue on. We have the history brush tool, the eraser tool, gradient tool, smudge tool, sponge tool, pen tool, type tool, path selection tool, custom shape tool, hand tool, zoom tool. Here we have the default foreground and background colors. If you would hit D on the keyboard to do it, but we'll just click on it. As you can see, it turns change that red to a black, and we still have the white. So here, if I click on that black, I can get a different color. If I hit this right here, it will transpose and switch the foreground and the background colors. Use the X key on your keyboard to get that, and I can come in here and pick a different color, so you have different colors in your color selection boxes. And here is the quick mask mode, or edit in the quick mask mode. We'll get to that a little bit later also. Here we have the image window. Now you can have a separate window for each image if you want, or you can nest the images in one window, as I have here. So I have an image of fall foliage and the image of a pumpkin. Up on top you have the menu bar up here, and you have File, Edit, Image, Layer, Select, Filter, View, Window, and of course the Help. So what you can do here, obviously there's a lot of parts of these submenus that are very similar to the rest of the programs that are out there in the world, but obviously because it's Photoshop, there are some Photoshop specific areas that you can pick. Again, these are areas that you can work on your work area or on the image itself. Now the windows here really corresponds to the Photoshop work area. We have a bunch of words here, and some of them have check marks by them, meaning that the ones that are check marked, there are windows open. If we go over to the right, We have a window called Info. It is open right now. Nested with Info is called Navigator. That's a separate window. If I were to drag it over here, I could drag it out of that nested window with Info, and now it's its own window. And you can keep it that way, or you can nest it as I have it here, and that way you can conserve space. Below that I have layers, channels, and paths. These are separate windows that are nested in the same palette. And underneath that I have histogram. Now if I hit, let's drag histogram over here, and if I hit this upper right hand corner, I get another submenu that allows me to manipulate that window, or add to the window, or change the shape of the window, or add more information, or delete information, or functions relating to that window. And we'll drag him back over here, and underneath here I have an action palette. Bring him up, bring him back down. And that is your Photoshop work area. Now, tutorials that will come up will get more into the different types of palettes and windows. We'll get more into the different types of tools and how we work with those tools and how we make settings for those tools. So this is the Photoshop work area. I'll see you next time, and take it easy.